Christian Fabian here, Sitka Jazz Week. Coming up, last week of August. Looking forward to have you. We're getting a lot of requests. A lot of people want to know what's going on. Sitka Jazz Week is a little different. It's a performance-oriented workshop. We start performing from day number 1. We have some amazing guests coming this year. Bernard Purdie is back. We have Matt King, Cleave Guyton, Heather Gluth, John Damberg from Anchorage. Also, for the first time, second year in the row, Sergio Bellotti, drum instructor from Berklee College of Music, and his wife Teri Cote. We have a lot of information up for you on our Instagram site, Facebook site, and YouTube channel. So come on up, Sitka Jazz Week, $750 for the week. We're including breakfast and lunch. It's the perfect time right now to book your flight. And we have also discount codes for the best hotels in town. So come on up, see you Sitka Jazz Week this year. Bye-bye.
You started something that you now have the world that's on your plate. You don't know, you have no idea how well this is going because everyone is talking about it around the world. That's what the amazing part, because they didn't know that we all love one another.
We do something never really anyone does, because we start performing from day number 1. And we kind of, I know it's like Celia pointed out, there's a lot going on day number 1, but I never thought about it, Sergio. So I want to thank you for that. I never really thought that would be something you can do anywhere else, but I really thought it was great input. Go ahead.
I believe so.
Oh, I like 1,000%. You're 100, but you're 1,000% right, because that's how it's growing. People around the world are listening. I'm believe it or not, I'm back to doing more lectures. I'm actually doing more lectures now than I was just playing. And it's amazing because everybody wants information, but they want it from the horse's mouth. Every one of us there love one another. We're not angry with anybody but ourselves, because if we can't get in, we're going, man, I got this. You can't take everything by yourself. The world is too big. But the world is listening to what we've been doing. I can tell you that because the word is out. It's been out.
Thank you.
It's been out. And you got me that 10 years ago. We were playing some, man, I said, I like this. I like your ideas and this, that, and the other. And the next thing I know, because of my friend passing on, you asked me to come, and I said, yes. We do what we do because we love what we do.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah.
Yes. Well, it was my plasma.
Plasma. Well, everybody's a vertebrae is how I see it.
Thank you, dear.
To make the spine.
It's always so nice when we all get together. We love one another, and that's what it's about.
Good morning. It's morning in Alaska, where we are in Sitka. But I just wanted to say hello, and I've been excited to work with Sitka Jazz Week all these 4 years. Christian said he had a vision. And I'm going to tell you, when Sitka Jazz Week started, that's what it was like. Christian said, hey, I have this idea, this vision. And I thought, this is never going to work. This is not going to work for my students. This is not going to work for me. I don't even, and when you start something new, something that's really kind of different, that's often what goes through your mind. Christian said I teach for Mount Edgecombe High School. And when I started, I was really building a program. A lot of students didn't play instruments. Definitely there weren't any kind of strong singing programs. And even when we started this program, I told Christian, I don't know if my students could handle this. Like, they are really, really beginners. This just I don't know. But Christian said, no, trust me. I think we can do this. And he had been at a music festival and saw my students perform. And he said, we have to give them an opportunity to make this happen for them, to make music real for them. Because, you know, when you run a high school program, you have a few opportunities to perform. And the performance, some people are so scared about it, it could go really bad one time. And so if I have 2 concerts a year, plus maybe Music Fest, it doesn't give a lot of time to recover if something goes bad, you know, and students, when you're teenagers, that was terrible, I quit. So I said, okay, we'll figure it out. I'll get the students who I know who are kind of independent, maybe a few beginners, and we'll just go from there. And so I brought a few students, and it truly is very challenging to say, here we are today, you're going to perform. This is the music that you brought. This is what we're going to do. There are people around town that will help you. So we walked around together in a group, and I was their kind of mama bearing, you know, saying, hey, yeah, no, this, and I was introducing them to the band, teaching them how to work with the band, those kind of things. And it was really a powerful experience. A lot of students after day 1 were like, oh, phew, I got that over with. And then I had to tell them, we're going to do it again. Right. And they were like, whoa, we're going to do it again. And so then they could try again, make some changes, shifts. And what we saw was the confidence level rise. Well, then take it into the school year, because we do this at the beginning of the school year. They were super motivated to learn what they didn't already know. So that was a huge thing for me and for the students.
Sitka Jazz Week is, like, as Christian says, just a really hands-on performance practice experience, because you're practicing performing every day. You're not just hyping yourself up for one thing at the end of the week that could go well or not. We have workshops in the morning, and you have like your little warm up that you always do in the morning. You have these little rhythm exercises. We have breakfast, have all these different themed workshops with the different guest speakers from New York and from all around the world. And then we have lunch, and we head off into the various jams where you set up the 3 to 4 different venues, and the students rather, because again, it's all ages. We definitely did have some people in their 70s.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to guess how old they were. But it's being able for a given camper to go to multiple different venues and perform their material is just invaluable. And you just don't really get that elsewhere. I can't think of any kind of situation where you have something like that. That's where you can also look back on it with the talkback section, and you can really analyze what happened every day and build on it. And because it's practicing performance itself, which is more than just the song that you're working on.
First of all, just arriving to Sitka, you're struck by the beauty, when the plane is landing, it's breathtaking. The people are wonderful. The food is wonderful. Sitka Jazz Week, I just love, because the students come to the school, and it's not like you take a lesson, they go home and you don't see them. You're with them the whole week. They come back. And like Christian said, if something doesn't go well, you go over it again. It's just, it's like not just a camp, it's like family. We become family. We come there every year. We get to, one of the students, Brooklyn, just stays in touch with us. We're like her grandparents now. You make friends. The music is wonderful. The instructors are just magnificent. And the students, their interest. I love how excited they are. Some of them are shy, some are quiet, and just it evolves. It's not just a one-day thing. It evolves over the whole week. The students are playing. The first year, there are these little venues around town, and the kids are playing with Sergio, with Bernard, Matt King. They're actually, whatever, their guitar, their bass. it's a wonderful experience. It's a musical explosion. And you just can't forget it. You want to come back. The students are like sponges. Just, you watch them and they go into their little groups, and maybe the first day might be a little, overwhelming, but by the end of the week, it's just like one big camaraderie. But at lunchtime, we're all together. Bernard is talking, Sergio's talking, Teri's got stories. And that's when they're just, they're like, they sit and they listen to all this greatness, but that's part of learning. Learning doesn't always mean it's, that 1 hour when they're taking their lesson, but you learn about the music industry, about the greats that all these teachers have worked with. That's the real life, the heart and soul of it.
And you are lucky. Consider yourself very special to have him become involved in your community and especially involved in your jazz life. He's learning every more day how to play the bass, and even better, how to be a band leader. And that's really important when you're trying to make work, trying to make friends, trying to network. You know that word, network? Are you guys hip to that word? No one knows what network means when you go out to meet people who can connect you with jobs you want to play. It's called networking. 10 words. That's not 10 letters. That's not too difficult. Come on. One of the things I found as a teacher, giving lessons to a student who wants to get better at something, to have him have a successful lesson, to have him play a successful concert, to have him join a group of people who are like-minded in performance skills and pleasing the audience. Music does all those things because you're in a group of other people. That's very uncomplicated. It does a lot of, it makes you not have these emotional down times. It makes you able to play some of your troubles away. I know I've had some difficult times in my life and social scenes that are really awful from my point of view, and I have to go to rehearsal. Well, this rehearsal helps me put this terrible view of the world I'm looking at far enough away so I can find some nice notes. I can feel good about myself, which is really important. And I can share these positive vibes with my friends who are now in my band or that group. And we have a place to share these feelings that are almost embarrassing to talk to out loud. But these are my friends. And as my friends, I trust that they will, two, listen to me with an open mind, and one, offer me some kind of suggestion that is kind of beyond my grasp. It's been proven that scientists say that music helps you do math better. It helps you become more social with groups. It helps you yawn. When you give them a lecture, you just kind of yawn, like my friend in the front row did just now. That I'm a serious person giving lessons. I love teaching, and occasionally, guys and gals, when a student leaves my room, before he or she leaves, I thank him for showing me another way to verbalize what it's going to take me to tell him or her how to get better. There's an art to that. I'm sure Heather's getting better at it because she's teaching you guys and gals. When you guys leave, she not only does like this, oh God, OMG. But somehow she says, man, I had a good lesson with my kids today. They showed me how to get better as a teacher.
I can honestly say, not even for the students, but this festival, I've done a lot of festivals around the world and a lot of master classes, but this is something that I look forward to for my own psyche. I mean, because it's nothing better than getting out here with these kids, man, and seeing their faces. First of all, it's in the beautiful Sitka, right on the water, right on the bay there. You see the students, they come every morning willing and to participate and learn new things. It's just a real healthy experience for anybody. I mean, even if you don't play music, just being in that environment is really, really great. But Secondly, then you have all the students they're really into it. They're up there early every morning, and you can see them. They have smiles on their face, and everybody's so friendly. It's just a great learning experience, and just to be, especially with all these great musicians that come, and it's really a highlight of my life. I mean, I know it might sound strange, but it really is. It's something that I look forward to every single year. And what the funny thing is about it is, like, it happens at a particular time in the year when I'm supposed to be teaching at Juilliard. So every year I tell my boss, I'm doing the festival. Okay, is it okay if I miss the first class? I'll make it up later. And they're like, yeah, well, so it's really a pleasure for me to be there. It's great musicians, great students, great environment, great food. It's just, oh man, it's like it's just uplifting for anybody's soul. So, like I said, again, also just to teach the students and have them going out, learning new songs, learning new ways of playing, chord scales and presentation and body language. It's so informative for the students. So that's what I love. I love it. I love it.
The range of not only talent and experience, but also age and background. It's a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
Like any teaching relationship, students are learning from us, but of course we're learning from them, and there's shared knowledge throughout the whole group. And I like the fact that it's, excuse me, intergenerational. You have young people that are still in school. If nothing else, the setting is great. I mean, it's beautiful. If you've never been to Sitka, never been to Alaska, this is a perfect place to go. The town is small. You can walk from our music complex, our teaching complex, into town and make a loop and see the whole town in like 15 minutes. It's bite-sized. It's great. And of course, the natural beauty is there. You're on the ocean. There's the forest. There's trails. But of course, the real action for the workshoppers is happening in our music compound, which, as Christian just stated, was recently renovated. And not to mention the other great players that come up: Cleave Guyton, the sax player, the great Bernard Purdie, who's the world's most recorded drummer, and John Damberg, who's been coming down from Anchorage, a great vibraphonist and drummer and composer. It's expanding. And we're drawing new people in, and we're bringing new voices in, figuratively speaking and metaphorically speaking, new voices in. And I'm happy that it's going on, and I encourage everyone to take a look at the website, take a look at some of these videos. If you're a newbie, you don't know about it, come check us out and come join the action this summer.
So this workshop is largely the opportunity I have to work on and improve my skill set, which, as someone who's really self-taught, needs a lot of work.
Chris, the photographer, where he's been, he must know of every jazz. It seemed like he knew about every jazz album ever released. His knowledge was orthopedic, and he could talk any subject jazz related for hours at a time. It's wonderful. I noticed how wonderful it is, the sort of fearlessness we inspire, or that they are willing. The students, maybe we have a little bit of part in it, but the students immediately are willing to exhibit this kind of confidence and fearlessness based on our encouragement, where they feel like, yeah, I can go out there, and I know we've learned a tune today and I've learned a scale, but I'm going to put that all to use as confidently and strongly as I can. I've got my friends here who believe in me. I've got my teachers there who believe in what I'm doing, and to hear them play, and then to hear them when they come back, and we all share feedback at the end of each day, just to hear all of these students say, I can't believe I did that. That was so awesome. I didn't think I'd ever have a chance to play something like that alone in my closet, let alone in front of people at a coffee house. And just to see these students go beyond their concepts and fears of what they thought could be done or couldn't be done on a couple of hours notice was just,
yeah.
You had been very, you explained in great detail, like you're doing now for the people out there who are curious about what happens at Sitka Jazz Week, and
the methods that we employ and how the magic happens and the kind of scheduling we have. You had told me all about that. And of course, it sounded good over the phone, but once I came down and actually experienced living and working and teaching and playing through that process, it was only then that it really hit home how effective, wonderfully effective this approach to learning, taking a week and having and structuring a jazz education program, how wonderfully effective that was. It's interesting, right at the beginning of this meeting, you were talking about the dangers, the fears that musicians have, the precipice you're walking upon when you learn something in the morning and are challenged to play it in the afternoon. That can cause a little bit of stress, cause a little bit of fear, cause a little bit of worry. But, the same kind of stress, fear, and worry exists in other kinds of programs where you start learning on Monday and then 2 weeks later on a Saturday is the all or nothing concert. So there's, really stress and nerves and a little bit of fear to overcome both of them. But after the first couple of days, being at Sitka Jazz Week last year, it was clear to me that the kind of stress, also the kind of excitement and yes, it's unknown, but there's a lot of excitement to the unknown as well as fear of the unknown. But just a chance to take every day, go out there and play, and realize that it's a different experience each time. You may go out there, and a student may go out there and think, I didn't learn this song. I'm gonna blow it. I'll have to fake my way through it. They come back and tell us they remembered every note.
Yeah.
Someone who didn't think they knew how to solo, all of a sudden they catch the wind and, they blow a solo that they're never going to forget. Just
that's great.
But the kitchen is like the hub. I've come to realize so much happens there with the hang, because somebody's always in there making food and someone's always passing through and there's always conversation going on in the kitchen.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Wow. It's like the best of both worlds. You get to hang out with world-class faculty in a very supportive musical learning situation in a gorgeous place. And you can't beat the scenery in Sitka. And it's just a lovely place to hang out for a week and have a life-changing experience. The way I look at this and the way I'd sum this up is the Sitka Jazz Week is a one-of-a-kind transformative performance-based camp. You learn valuable real-world performance and communication skills in safe, supportive bandstand and classroom learning environments from great seasoned professional performing musicians who are also teachers. And they'll do their best to help you out become a better player and enjoy it. And plus, it's also a great networking situation, too. If you want to meet some new people, get outside of your usual community of the people you play with, this is a great chance to take your playing to the next level. So go ahead.
Yeah, that's great, John. Absolutely. And
I think that for all the students and the teachers, participants, we got to have a lot of great events scheduled during the week in a wide variety of things: educational, playing, experiential, community getting together at breakfast and lunch, the hang. Don't forget our photographer, Chris. He's a historian of jazz. That guy, he wants to talk more about all the photography sessions he's done. So if you want to find out about all the Blue Note sessions and all sorts of things, just hang out with our photographer. Yeah. I mean, that cat he's worth the price of admission right there. He'll just talk your ear off till the cows come home.
But how did it help you getting through the school year, fall and summer, following Jazz Week? How did that, did you think about things which happened at Jazz Week?
Oh yeah, I actually, there was a lesson I got from, it was either you or the other,
Chazz.
I think it was Chazz actually. He told me that I can apply what I've learned and like the methods I use from jazz and like practicing, and I can apply that to my schoolwork. And it's like just focus on the one small step at a time kind of thing. It's like that honestly helps me a lot getting through my school year, and it's helped me a significant amount.
It's great. So, you know, when you are in Jazz Week, for all of you guys, in Brooklyn this year, you came 2 or 3 years in a row, and I'm gonna give it up to you in a minute. But you know, you're spending a week with very disciplined people who work very hard for their craft. And the great thing about music, I always think once I become a better musician, it always makes me also a better human being. It makes me also being more disciplined in other areas of my life, and I get better in those areas, which makes me a better musician. So I think music and life, it goes hand in hand. And I think what you just said, it's a great example for that. So that's beautiful to hear.
Definitely the community of people who show up and want to do music together. But I also think it's like how our confidence rises after like the first day. And like being able to be with a live band instead of just like karaoke version. But also just learning how to improvise in different ways that you wouldn't think of if you were just by yourself. I also think it's because of the teachers. They are very, very helpful in a way that you wouldn't think like people would be helpful. Yeah, and I would encourage people to go so that they could get a stronger skill mindset, and also just have more confidence in what they're doing musically, and also just meeting new friends and getting a renewal of love for music. And it's really fun and challenging and unforgettable. So that's just
Great.
some of the things that I had.
I did sit in for some of the vocal sessions, which was definitely outside of my comfort zone. And I'm really glad that I did. And I think another great thing about Sitka Jazz Week is that even if you come into it as like a sax player or a bassist or a pianist, you can actually, you know, sit in with the other lessons if you really want to, and explore those options in a very like freeing and liberating way. And especially with how welcoming all of the teachers and participants are, it makes it, I think, again, a unique opportunity.
The idea about Sitka Jazz Week, and I'll let you know where it's coming from, it's really an all ages program, and we have as a backbone, and the reason why I will tell you that, at the backbone we have the Mount Edgecombe High School music program, and students join us every year. And it's run by an amazing musician. Her name is Heather Gluth. She's a multi-instrumentalist. She's a great singer. She plays the piano, the saxophone, and she has been hired basically in 2022 or 2021. Mount Edgecombe had no music teacher for 7 years, and she has been hired to rebuild this program, and she's doing an excellent job. She actually, last year, she was short of 1 trombone and 2 or 3 trumpets, short of a full big band. And I told her, once you have a full big band, I'm going to write big band charts for the Mount Edgecombe Big Band. But she's really working really hard to build that program. So she's always, and her students are always part of the Sitka Jazz Week. However, the idea about the Jazz Week in general, I've been to many, and John, we talked about it a few times, and John had been to a great bass player. His name is Victor Wooten, who is doing these music nature camps in Nashville, an hour west of Nashville, and they're always open to all ages. And what I learned, when it comes to learning, age doesn't matter. So the whole thing about the Jazz Week, what I was trying to get across is, when you really want to learn, you got to forget to eat, you got to forget your age, you got to forget what you want to do. You really immerse yourself in the moment. And that's when you learn. And a lot of times when people get older, they're judging about themselves. And that's the difference between someone who's young. They don't think too much about it, But when I'd always talk to my mother. Is 91, and she just retired last year from what she was doing. And then every other phone call, she's like, "Oh, I'm 91." I said, "It's just a number." In the meantime, she signs up for new courses. She just signed up for an advanced Swedish, because we lived in Sweden. I was actually born in Sweden. She is advanced Swedish class, and then she signed up for another textile class, because she's a textile artist. She's doing ceramics and textile. So it's kind of funny. So it's kind of like in the blood, I'm just like, I walked down with her the street, and she's like, last year, I just signed up for a class. And I'm like, okay, great. That's what I'm talking about, So when it comes to learning, you forget about your number and you just have fun and follow your heart's desire. So in Sitka Jazz Week, we're together all day long. It's not like, and John Damberg pointed that out. We're collaborating with John Damberg and the Alaska Jazz Workshop. He's been to some different camps. He said, specifically, I won't mention the name, but he said one camp, you don't see the teachers. They do their performance. The students watch them. Participants, I have to stretch. We are all ages. Sitka Jazz Week, anyone can come. We are collaborating with Mount Edgecombe High School because we're helping Heather Gluth to build her jazz program. However, Bernard and Sergio, you had your good friend Andy come, and we had a gentleman from North Carolina, and we have some people, Sitka people who come. Sitka is the Jazz Week is really an all ages program. But however, we hang out, we cook together, we eat together, and the amazing thing, and Bernard can attest to that. It happened the first year, but last year, Celia, you did your amazing meatballs. And we're sitting there hanging out in the kitchen with Bernard and Sergio, but that's, we're having some fun, but it's an element which is very important in developing a musician. No one talks about it because we are so instruction oriented, but I learned it a long time ago that they say the true learning happens through osmosis. What that means is there's an energy exchange happening when you actually are being with a person. So there's information that can be intellectually related to you, but there's information, like you said, Sia, we become like sponges. We hang out with people. We listen to Bernard. Bernard, he can talk for hours about this amazing stories. Aretha Franklin in the studio. He was there with Ann Phillips talking about the 60s, doing demos. I mean, there's something, what happens at Sitka Jazz Week, you cannot pay for it because, you really are with these amazing musicians and all of us. There's an energy exchange happening, which doesn't really happen that way on other workshops. I don't know if you're familiar with a amazing martial arts fighter. His name was Bruce Lee, and he's been popping up lately on Instagram with a lot of quotes. And what I like about him and his quotes, they're all short, And he said in one quote, we're always looking for the comfort zone. He actually said, life is not meant to be comfortable, because the growth happens when we are not comfortable. So it's kind of like, what we said on the Zoom call, Sitka Jazz Week, we make you perform. And what Jack was saying, it's a shocking experience. But Jack, I'm just talk to everyone, but I'm just mentioning your name. But the key is really that you embrace your uncomfortable situation. And then the paradox is the opposite happens, what it means being a paradox. And you're growing very quickly by embracing this uncomfortable situation or the discomfort. We are really always trying to avoid uncomfortable situations, but when we actually, he actually says it also, Bruce Lee said, when you face the fear, it goes away. It's very interesting. I don't know, and I think we all maybe have our more or less fair amount of experiences, but I really liked it. It's very motivating. And what happens at Jazz Week, because we're performing from day one, and you experience all, things the shocking experience, uncomfortable, but you're growing really exponentially faster. And I remember, Jack, by day 2 on Tuesday afternoon, you were beaming. You're like, you had the greatest time in the world. I remember these 3 songs. I can still see you talking about it. And look how quick that it changed from one day to the other. a little thing just can change. And that's the great thing about Jazz Week, because many times you go into a camp or to a workshop and you see the teachers play, you see everyone else play, and you have this one performance at the end of the camp. And then if it goes well, great. If it doesn't go well, then you walking around with this feeling for a long time. So what we're doing in Jazz Week, we do it the other way around. You have this feeling in the beginning of the week, and then we help you getting all the way rid of it throughout the week. And then you end up halfway through the week, you're like so inspired. I remember some of you came and played the Highliner, and I can just see how much joy you had by Wednesday and Thursday to perform your pieces and everything. It was just beautiful to see. So it's just a decision, right? So just anyway, that's how I do it still. I'm doing solo gigs now during COVID, and I'm so uncomfortable playing just by myself. I never did that before. I'm doing it, and every time I'm learning something from it, and I'm growing exponentially. That means because I'm encouraging myself to go in this uncomfortable situation, and I'm learning much faster than rather doing it the same way, you know. So anyway, that's just my experience. So I hope it helps you in any way. And we're really welcoming everyone, any instrument, and we really want to share with you the similar experience. So it will make some changes in the music, and it also can make, as I said earlier, make some changes. What Jack said, it affected some of the other classes you were having. So music is amazing, you know. Anyway, it's a pleasure to see you all, and thanks for making it happen, Heather. Cool. Yeah. Anything else? I mean, the hang. How do you like the hang in the kitchen?
Yeah, kitchen hang is great.
Sound amazing.
Yeah.
Next to Bernard Purdie and having him tell any story from Bernard's Rolodex is a gem. So you never know. You never knew which. You couldn't, as fiction, no one would believe it, but the stories he had to tell, the way the opportunities just presented themselves to him and the choices he made, it doesn't happen that way anymore. Sort of like the way Ann Phillips described how she moved up step by step through the music industry, from the Brill Building to, you know, the various projects that she did. It's they have stories from another time which are still relevant, even though the form in which things happen has changed externally today. There are tales of luck and skill and, you know, working with musicians, and everything from tales of triumph to very useful cautionary tales about warning signs in the industry, who to work with, who not to work with. But the story was just, and why. Every one of Bernard's stories and Ann's stories, and even, you know,
I just want to plant the seed, Christian. Remember when I said this camp is so great and you should replicate this to somewhere else, right? So, and I know it resonated with you. So what I'm thinking is that if anybody's watching this at some point after the fact, these recordings will be out there. If you're watching this and you happen to believe in what Christian is doing, and you live in a town where you think, oh yeah, there are 3 or 4 venues. I do have a school with classroom. Maybe I know a corporate sponsor that could make it happen. You let us know where you would want this Jazz Week, Jazz Camp to happen near you. And maybe it will happen, because there are so many areas. Like Bernard said, the world is so big. And I'm thinking in Massachusetts, we could put some minds together, Teri and I and Larry. Larry lives in a great community with an amazing structure. I mean, the complex at the Groton Music Center is marvelous. Who knows? We could talk to them, partnership, do something in Massachusetts or in our town, Winchester. Let's grow it. Yeah. Why not? If you're watching this and you got ideas, contact Christian, and, you know, would like to live, to be every week in a different part of the country.
Yeah, here we go. Perfect. No, absolutely. I mean, for me, it's just like so much legwork to do for this year and then the next year. But thanks for pointing that out. and it makes
Sure.
it easier to look at it as a concept which can be duplicated, because I'm like, after my third year, I really know all the main elements to be in place. So I'm actually, whoever wants to do it and reach out to us, I can give you great advice.
We will. We are there to make them sound better and to make them grow. And that's what we do with one another, and it's based on what Bernard said. There's that love there, no competition. We are there to just grow.
That's
and
it.
That's it.
That's
Great.
it.
What I usually always say, with all ages, people get some really hung up on their age or the whole concept. I'm looking for the energy of learning. I'm really looking for someone, what I'm recognizing is the desire to know more and really get something. I know through myself can be a frustration. It can be in any age, but the more someone wants to learn, the more I think Sitka Jazz Week is for them, because the true learning. Oh, someone left us?
Alex had to leave.
Oh, Alex had to leave. Okay. The more you want to learn, you forget who you are. You forget if you're hungry. You forget your age. You forget, you have to forget that you go to the bathroom and all of this, You really immerse yourself. You have this, I know this, and I learned that from, we just had Ron Carter drop by Heather's class 2 days ago. That generation, Mike Longo, and I don't know what your experience is, Matt, but that generation, Ron, after a gig, he goes and practices if something doesn't go right. Their mind is so on the music and so focused, so that really inspires me. And I think the more someone wants to learn, and that you can have the desire in any part of your life, the reason, I started singing too, like Alex, 2.5 years in now, and I'm pushing myself to invite myself to places. Can I do my solo thing? And I sing, and no one hires me, a solo bass player, to sing, so I have to look for my own. I do other gigs, great, but I have to look for my own gigs, so to speak, and I force myself to do it, and it just feels great afterwards. I'm like, I learned something, I got better, So the whole idea of that all ages thing, I just want to point that out, has to do with that. And the other thing is what Heather was saying earlier, you just take this one song. Let's say you take this one song and get that really under your belt, and this one song becomes kind of your measuring stick if you want to learn repertoire, right? So I always thought, I have this one song, the very first song I learned, I Should Care, so that became my measuring stick. I'm up to over 10 songs now, singing and playing my bass, but I'm like, every song I'm learning has to be on that confidence level of where I perform I Should Care, so this one song will give you a measuring stick to take it on when you walk away from Sitka Jazz Week. You had this one or a couple of songs, like, man, if I learn a new song, it has to be at least on that level or better to perform it, so that's what really is all about. That's why I always stress the all ages thing, because it's hard because we are so conditioned. I mentioned that, I don't want to get too much into it, but we have like 10 grade charts, 10, 11 charts, grade 12, whatever, it's like, when I was teaching at certain camps, I always brought a big band chart, which I think the high school kids could learn, so it's really, when it comes to learning and really making progress, I think, you learn faster, not trying to put yourself into some kind of frame, that's my experience, and I hopefully able to get that across a little bit through Jazz Week.
Yeah, I encourage anyone who signs up, be they a vocalist or an instrumentalist, or maybe they're doing both, come up with a song that you feel pretty comfortable with. So like your song, I Should Care, you're comfortable singing that and playing the bass at the same time, something that's like a security blanket for you, a security blanket song that you feel familiar with, and that's like a home base for you. And then bring in something that's totally new. Think of something totally new. Oh, I'd like to learn this song. I heard so-and-so sing this or play that. I'd love to learn that, but it seems so challenging. I don't know, and that, so you have like a new song, an old song and a new song, and you're coming in, so you can, and both those things will feed each other. And a lot of students I've found, just, teaching personally here at home, private piano students, they get daunted when they start to see, especially when I start talking about theory, you know, chords, different types of chords, different types of scales, the relationship of one chord to the other, this and that. Someone get a little daunted. It's like, wow, it's just so much. And then, well, I learned that, but now you want me to do this. And it's like, to me, the analogy is music. And you can say this about all the arts, be it visual arts, or if you're into theater, or if you're into dance. It's like when you first get started, you're on the edge of an ocean, right? And your first piano lesson or vocal lesson or horn lesson or the first painting, it's like getting your toes in the water, right? And you get wet. And then, you know, you're comfortable with that. And then you get up to your ankles, you're like, all right. And you get up to your knees and you go, and then at some point it's up to your, and then at some point you have to start swimming. And the thing about the arts is, you know, music being one of them, there's no shore. Like the water just gets wider and deeper. There's no, I mean, it literally, there's people like Ron Carter, like he goes home and practices after a gig. Really? He's the most recorded bass player in history, but there's still stuff to learn. There's still stuff to do. It's amazing. Pablo Casals, the great cellist, classical cellist, he was like 90 something, you know, and he was the most popular classical cellist in the world. And someone in the press once asked me, he said, oh, I still practice, you know, 2 or 3 hours a day. And they're like, why? And he goes, well, because I feel like I'm making progress. So, I mean, you know, it's just, you can go as deep as far as you want. And if you get tired, there's always some little island you can like rest on, a piece of, you know, floating dory, and then you can hang on for a while, and then you just swim some more, you know. But the thing is, it gets more challenging, but it also gets more fun and it gets more interesting the deeper you go into any art. As soon as you plateau, or as soon as you just live on that island, you know, or that beach that you found, you're going to stagnate. But there's always something else to do. That's the exciting part about music, jazz, classical music, like I said, all the other arts I mentioned. It's just an ongoing thing. It's a life experience. It's about the journey. And you do have destinations on the way, but it's really about just the journey, progressing and learning and finding new things.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. That's great. Mike Longo, which you had met on one of my birthday parties, he said to me always, the longer I play, the more I know what I don't know. And he played all over the world with Dizzy Gillespie. Right. I find it inspiring. I mean, these are great. Thanks for sharing. I mean, these are the people like, wow, you know, so there's always more to learn, you know. And
the only thing I would say is make sure that you dress for sunny weather, but you also bring layers and don't forget your raincoat, because it can rain there, right?
That's good advice.
Yeah, so it's Alaska weather, dress in layers, right, Jan?
Yeah, rain gear and rubber boots, extra toughs.
Yeah, you got to have your wellies, extra toughs and wellies.
It's kind of hard to take those when you fly. Like, I didn't bring a raincoat because we flew. We tried to just bring a carry-on, you know?
Well,
so then you're like...
You got to wear them. At the airport, you just put them on and bring them with you.
Just like a fisherman.
I tell you...
You might want to talk about our little tour we go on.
Yeah, we do that too. That's very quick. So my favorite phrase, teamwork makes the dream work. So that's really what it's all about. And we displaying the teamwork sense also when you come to Sitka Jazz Week. The other thing you brought up, John, I want to pick up on it in terms of Sitka Jazz Week is really all ages. So my philosophy is, and it has been proven to myself and many others, when it comes to learning, you cannot put a number to your bodily age when it comes to learning. Learning is an energy. So the way you learn the most efficient is you forget about everything and really devote yourself to a subject matter and really dig in there and have fun doing it. So that can be, you know, in young ages, it could be in the middle ages. The problem is when you get older, people don't allow themselves to have fun anymore. Everything's like so serious, all right? And then they get all, you know, my mother's 91 and like every other time I call her, she's like, oh, and I said to my mother, it's just a number. It's just a number. Because she's still taking classes. She's taking a Swedish class and she's taking some sewing classes. So here's the key when it comes to learning. Don't put a number on it. It's really follow your heart's desire. And if anything resonates with you in Sitka Jazz Week, I highly encourage you to come and sign up. And so John was saying it's amazing what happens in Anchorage. I've been to the Fire Island Bakery. It's really Nick Patuminus runs a great jam session. He's also part of the Alaska Jazz Workshop. So, we are also getting close to the 1 hour mark, but I want to say that about learning, it's all ages. So again, you can find John at alaskajazzworkshop.org, I think, right? Or
Right,
.com.
.org.
And Sitka Jazz Workshop, www.sitkajazzworkshop.org, and you find us on Facebook. You can sign up on the website. And I do want to say we had Ann Phillips talking about age, and she's one of my great teachers. Ann Phillips is also 91 or 92, and she is a great teacher. She's still studying and learning. And when she had her event last year at Stevenson Hall, we had to add seats from the kitchen because the Stevenson Hall was packed. I mean, she's really a powerhouse. You really want to experience her, and she's really strongly considering coming back to Sitka Jazz Week of 2026. So I don't know if I left anything out, but you find us, and this video will be posted on Sitka Jazz Week YouTube channel.
Sign up and hang and go home rejuvenated and a better musician and wanting to come back the following year. Forget about teachers, students. We're all in this thing together. Just come and grow in whichever role you are. Just
you'll go home. You'll go home happy and highly inspired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.